In this video, we got another episode of this series where I rate and improve your guys' teams. You guys will send me your teams on Twitter at X7Tanaka, and I'll give you guys my best suggestions to help improve your guys' team, and then I'll also give you guys a rating out of 10. So if you guys want to let me know your teams in the YouTube comment section down below, let me know what squad you guys are rocking right now, and let me know how much MT you guys have so I can give you guys suggestions to help improve your squad. But looking at the first team here coming in from Hamza, he's got a very good squad. I mean, this is one of the better starting lineups in the game. I mean, he's got Yao Ming, he's got the dynamic duo between Mike Bantam and Billy Knight, which are some of the best cards in the game. So for your starting lineup, I don't think there's really too much to touch. For your bench though, I think there is a couple upgrades to make, especially with your front court and your bigs, but I would say overall this is easily a 9.5 out of 10 team. I would say maybe even look to get like a Magic Johnson or a Denny over James Harden, because you do have T-Mac, and if you have Tracy McGrady on the court, there's no reason for anybody else to have the ball if the ball is in T-Mac's hands. So for me personally, I'd probably get a Magic or a Denny to play over James Harden. And then I like Jonathan Isaac a lot, one of the best small forwards in the game. For your front court, I would personally look to get Dino. I think he's better at center than Jokic, and I think he's better at center than Yi as well. So for me, I'd play Dino at your backup five, I should say. And then for your backup four, you can make that decision between Galaxy Yi and Galaxy Jokic. For me personally, I would probably go with Jokic. I do think he's slightly better than that Galaxy Yi, but it's definitely close debate at that backup power forward spot. But overall, looking to be a very good team. Next squad here coming in from Xavier, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's got 150,000 MT and a very solid squad. I would say it's definitely a little bit worse than the previous squad from Hamza, but another very decent team. I'd say like an 8.5, maybe 9 out of 10. I'm not really the biggest fan of Mark Eden, so if you were to replace him, then I think it probably goes right up to a 9.5, but I would say currently the squad's probably like a 8.5, 9 out of 10, somewhere in that range, maybe like an 8.8. I think for the suggestions, you could definitely upgrade that starting center position. What I would probably do is just get Dino, move Dino to the starting five next to Kevin Garnett. I think that front court is actually super good. And then for your backup power forward spot, that's when you can go with guys like Bob Nedelecki, Jokic, Dirk. You can kind of decide between those three power forwards. For me personally, once again, I would go with the Galaxy Jokic. And other than that, I think your team is perfectly fine. I would maybe look to start Ray Allen over a guy like Scottie Pippen just for a little bit more offense, because right now you don't really have a ball handler between Ben Simmons, Scottie Pippen, and Jonathan Isaac. If you're going for the defense approach where you just want to have, all tall guys that play really good defense and you're just gonna, limit your opponent from scoring, that obviously is a great way to play the game as well. For me personally, I like to have at least one ball handler on each lineup, so I would probably start Ray Allen next to a guy like Ben Simmons and Jonathan Isaac, because that defensive line will be absolutely insane, especially with Kevin Garnett at the 4 and Dino at the 5 as well. But all around, a very good squad. I would just improve Mark Eden, move Dino to the 5, and then get Jokic for the backup 4. But looking at the next squad here coming in from Zaza, he needs a better point guard off the bench, and he does have 1.1 million MT, so he's got a lot of spend, and he's got already a very good team. I would say yes, you do need a backup point guard, but you probably also need to improve your big man a lot. That's the only position I would say you're really lacking in. Overall squad rating, I'd probably say probably a 9 out of 10. I mean, you got Tim Thomas, you got Magic, Scotty, you got Dino, but once again, I would play Dino at the 5. I think he's one of the best big men in the game, and there's so many other power forwards you can buy. So for me personally, I would move Dino to the 5, get rid of Marc Gasol, and then for your two centers, I would go Dino at the starting 5, and then I would get Pink Diamond D-Rob off the bench as your two centers. And then for your power forwards, I honestly don't even mind Jonathan Isaac at the backup 4. I think he can probably stay there. I just think for your starting 4, once again, there's 3 guys you can go with. You can go with Dirk, Jokic, you have Yi, you could maybe play Yi if you wanted to as well, but I think Jokic, Dirk, Bob, or Yi can start at the power forward spot next to a guy like Dino. Other than that though, I think your squad is pretty good. If you maybe want to upgrade to a Vince Carter over Alex English, I think he's also better than Vince Carter is also better than Alex English. And then for the backup point guard spot, if you do go with a guy like Vince, I think you need a defender at the point guard position. I think a Denny would be the perfect kind of budget option to go with at the backup point guard spot. You'll have Denny, Vince Carter, Rudy Gay, Jonathan Isaac, and Pink Diamond D-Rob. I think that is a really good mix of offense and a really good mix of defense as well. But overall, a very good squad from Zaza. But looking at the next team here coming in from I Am a Gamer, he says this is an updated squad and he's about 50,000 MT to work with. So not too much MT to work with, but does have a very solid squad. I'm not really the biggest fan of DeMar at the backup shooting guard spot. spot, I'd say his team's probably like a solid maybe 7.5, maybe 8 out of, I'd probably say 7.5. You do need a lot of upgrades, and you can't really do so with only 50,000 MT. So with 50k, you really want to look for some super cheap guys. You have Jaden McDaniels, which is a really good option. So your small forward position is good with Rudy Gay and Jaden McDaniels. I like your power forwards, especially if we're rocking on a budget with Christian Wood and Amari Stoudemire. For your center position, I do like Marcus Gasol. I'd probably try to upgrade your backup center. And there's not too many options to go with. So I think for a squad like this, you might have to just spend all of your MT on a pink diamond D-Rob to play the center position and then move Marcus Gasol to the bench. If you wanted to upgrade your backcourt off the bench, I think you could also upgrade that as well. For your point guard spot, I mean, Denny is about 25,000 MT. He's a pretty good option. Anthony Simons, I think, is a lot better than Shea if you want to go for super budget. So I think him, maybe even Bob Sir, but I'd probably go Anthony as a way better point guard than Shea. And then for your backup two, I would just get a really cheap guy like a Luol Deng. I think he is a lot better than a guy like DeMar DeRozan. So definitely a decent budget squad, but those would be my suggestions with about 50,000 MT to work with. Next squad though, coming in from 2K, is it 2K Uppa? I think it's how you pronounce his name. He's got Kevin Garnett and 950,000 MT. So he's got almost a million MT to work with, and he's got a pretty good lineup. I mean, that starting lineup is definitely very decent. I would say you definitely want to improve your bench, especially in the front court. But talking about the rating out of 10, first off, I'd say it's probably like an 8.5, a very solid team. I would say the first thing you want to talk about, the first thing you should upgrade is your center position, and you just want to decide how much MT do you want to spend. If you want to get Dark Matter D-Rob, I think that could be a huge upgrade to have at your starting center position. If you don't want to go with Dark Matter D-Rob, then I'd probably just get Pink Diamond D-Rob to play the starting center position, and then move Joel Embiid to the backup 5, and then that can be your centers. Power forwards, I like Kevin Garnett. I would probably look to upgrade your backup 4. Jaren's not bad, but I think once again, a guy like Jokic, a guy like Dino, like that's probably the guy I would go with personally is Dino. If you want your two centers to maybe be Dino and, or sorry, you want to go Dino and D-Rob, that can be your two centers. You can sell Joel Embiid and then get yourself a Jokic, get yourself a get yourself a Jokic, maybe a Bob Nedelecki, a Dirk, one of those guys at the backup 4. For your small forward position, I do like Siakam, but I think on this line, especially if you have a million MT, I think you should get 2 of the new 3 small forwards, whether that's MPJ and Jonathan Isaac, who I would personally go with, or if you want to go Jonathan Isaac and Rudy Gay and MPJ, just get 2 of those 3 small forward guys to play your 2 small forward spot. Personally, I would go Jonathan Isaac starting over Siakam, and then off the bench, I'd probably get Rudy Gay or MPJ to play that backup 3. And then other than that, you can maybe upgrade your backup shooting guard if you wanted to a guy like Vince Carter. But after you do that, I think your squad does become a lot better. But looking at the next team here, coming in from JJ5, he's decently new to my team and wants to build the best team possible, and he's currently at 100,000 MT. So definitely another budget squad to work with. I mean, we basically got nobody off the bench, so I think with 100,000 MT, this is definitely going to be hard to do so, but for your point guard spot, I would go Drew Holiday and Dame. Those can be your 2 point guards. For your shooting guards, I would go Iguodala and then probably Luol Deng at the backup 2. I think those are the 2 best budget shooting guards in the game. For your small forward position, I would get MPJ starting. Yes, he's going to be a lot of MT out of your 100,000 MT budget, but I do think he's worth it to play the starting 3. And then for your backup 3, I'd go between guys like Pink Diamond AK, guys like Pink Diamond LeBron, Jaden McDaniels, like Siakam even, and anybody out of that. I'd probably go AK or Jaden McDaniels to play your backup small forward spot. And if you want to save some MT and you don't want to buy MPJ, then you could just go AK and Jaden McDaniels as your 2 small forwards. I'd move Marcus Gasol to the center position and sell everyone else that I'm not saying to you. So I'd sell AI, I would sell Cat, right? Move Marcus Gasol to the starting 5. And then for your power forward position, this is where things do get a little bit interesting because there's not too many great budget power forwards. I think I've saved you enough MT where you can probably get yourself a Dolph Shays. So I'd go Dolph at the starting 4 next to a guy like Marcus Gasol. And then off the bench at the backup 4, I would go for Amari Stoudemire. And then for your backup 5, I mean, I would probably look to get, I was about to say D-Rob, but you could maybe afford David Robinson. So here's what your lineup would look like, for example, right? So let's say Drew Holiday starting next to, let's go Iguodala. Your starting small forward, let's say, is MPJ. Your power forward is going to be Bob Nedelecki, and then your center is D-Rob. And then off the bench, you would have Dame. Backup shooting guard, you would have Luol Deng. Backup small forward, you'd have Jaden McDaniels. Backup 4, you would have, I do believe, who did I say? Amari Stoudemire. And then backup 5, you would have Marcus Gasol. You might need to save up a little more MT to build that squad, but those are the players that I would get to help improve your team. Definitely a budget squad, but I think after you make those suggestions, at least a couple of those, maybe 5 to 6 of those suggestions, your team does become a lot better. And then looking at the last team here of the video, comes in from Klaus. He's got about 200,000 MT, and he's mainly trying to improve his center position. So I do agree with that. Your center position is definitely your weakest spot on the lineup, and that's all I would really focus on, just like you mentioned. I mean, just get a better center if you want to go. See, the thing is, you can't really upgrade to a guy besides Dino. So for me personally, I would get Dino to play over D-Rob and then have D-Rob off the bench. And after you do that, I think your squad is perfectly fine. So the only player you really need to get is Pink Diamond Dino, in case you don't have enough for a Kristaps, a D-Rob, or obviously a Yao Ming. So I would just get Dino for your starting center position and then move Pink Diamond D-Rob to the backup 5. And I think overall your squad is looking really good. I would say before the suggestion, probably a 9 out of 10. And then after you get Dino, you could be looking at like a 9.2, maybe even a 9.5 out of 10. But let me know in the comment section down below. Like I said earlier, guys, at the start of the video, let me know your guys' team and MTM out in the YouTube comment section. I'll give you guys my best suggestion to help improve your squad. But hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.